Hey, what's going on today, guys? It's Trey. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are here at Disneyland Paris to have an amazing time. Today we're gonna try to ride everything as much as possible. We're just gonna have an amazing time. So we are Americans that live in Germany, but I actually come from the state of Florida. So I've been to the Walt Disney World Resort hundreds of times. And so our biggest objective in this video is to compare everything at the Walt Disney World Resort and Disneyland in California to the things that can be found here at Disneyland Paris. Now, we actually started our morning in Paris. That's where our Airbnb is. And we took the RER over to Disneyland Paris, which was incredibly seamless. I'm not gonna lie, I was very intimidated at first, but it was extremely easy. Yes, they do warn you about pickpockets, but we didn't see anything and we definitely didn't experience anything. So yeah, we're really excited to be here. We're gonna be starting our day off at Walt Disney Studios Park, and then we're gonna be making our way over into Disneyland Paris itself. So stay tuned, let's get into it. All right, the first thing that is very similar to both the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida and the Disneyland Resort in Paris is you do have to walk through a metal detector. Just be prepared. Obviously, don't bring anything that's gonna go off. And some things might go off, like your phone or your belt. But just be smart. Don't come here, with weapons of mass destruction, because you will be turned away or worse. So the very first thing that I noticed, and one thing that's very different from Walt Disney World Resort, is I've already shown my tickets 2 times, and I'm not even in the theme park, so I'm about to show my tickets a 3rd time. So, yeah, let's do it. I got my ticket here. So we have officially made it inside the Walt Disney Studios Park. Very first thing that I noticed as well is they've got the old Mickey water tower found at the old MGM Studios. I miss that thing so much. And yeah, so they are celebrating the 30th anniversary this year at the Disneyland Paris Resort. So if you see any of this signage that says 30 on it, that's what it is for. Now this is pretty awesome. This is like being in the Great Movie Ride. Yeah, this is awesome, guys. So this is my favorite time period in American history, and I'm loving every second of this. It just looks really cool in here, really retro. There's a lot of restaurants in here. There's a gift shop right over here. We're gonna probably eat in here later, but for now, this is actually how you have to get into the Walt Disney Studios. So this was a really cool introduction into the theme park. I will say probably the biggest shock that I've noticed since we've been here at the Disneyland Paris Resort is that there are no designated smoking sections at all. So people just smoke out in the open. So don't be surprised if you're walking around with your family and you happen to walk through multiple clouds of smoke. People just smoke out in the open and it's not a big deal. That's European culture. If you were to go on the Champs-Élysées right now in Paris, that's all you're gonna see is just people smoking. You're gonna see people smoking at cafes. You're gonna see people smoking at bars. You're gonna see people smoking everywhere. So get used to it while you're here. Don't let it ruin your trip, but just know that people smoke very heavily here at Disneyland. Just to give you guys an idea of ride times right now. It's a very busy day. It's a Friday. So yeah, Tower 65 minutes, Spider-Man 80 minutes, Crush's Coaster 100 minutes. The park just opened like 15 minutes ago. All right, guys, we're gonna head into the brand new Avengers campus. Let's do it. There she is. It's Captain Marvel. Yay. By the way, if you guys do happen to see anybody in these type of uniforms, feel free to ask them any questions that you have. They are great and extremely helpful, and they speak English. Okay, so because the lines are really crazy today, we did decide to purchase the Premier Access Pass. And what that is essentially an all-day fast pass that you can use to ride most of the big attractions here at the park. You can only ride it once, but the really great selling point is you can ride at any time. You don't have to ride at a specific time. You can come back whenever you want and ride the rides. And so since we're only gonna be here one day, we figured that it was gonna make the most sense. Unfortunately, because we have 3 adults with us, it is gonna be 120 euros per person, so 360 euro total for us. But we figured if we wanna ride everything, sometimes you gotta pay the price. Clayton brought up a good point. when you actually buy the Premier Access Pass, yes, it is for both parks. So you don't have to worry about buying it once in the Walt Disney Studios and then having to buy another one at Disneyland Park. You can actually use the pass at both parks. First thing that we're gonna ride is Spider-Man Web Adventure. 80-minute standby line, but we are just gonna walk right on. All right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, so we are in the holding area right now. We literally just walked right on. And good news, Golden gets to ride with us. So there's no height limit on this ride. Clayton's pretty terrified right now, though. So that was the pre-show. Now we're gonna head on to the ride. One thing that I did want to mention to you guys that's very important to keep in mind is everything signage-wise and announcement-wise is going to be in French. So don't let that be a deterrent at all, but just keep in mind that we are in Paris, so everything's gonna be in French.
Salut, c'est Peter.
All right, what'd you guys think?
It was good. She had 2 people, so her score was higher.
Whatever. My arms hurt. My arms hurt.
It was a workout.
It was a workout.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Good. That was amazing. I mean, really the only attraction I can compare it to was like Toy Story Mania. It's very interactive. It also kind of reminded me of Ratatouille a little bit as well. Yeah, you don't like use any gun or anything like that. The only, I guess, mechanism that you use is your hands. And so somehow the technology and the ride vehicles are able to detect your hands in motion. And so I thought it was a really amazing attraction. Hopefully they bring this type of technology to the Walt Disney World Resort and to Disneyland in California, because it was amazing, and I can definitely see why this ride is over 100 minutes long. Next thing we're gonna ride is Avengers Flight Force. Now, this used to be the old Rockin' Roller Coaster, but they have since transformed it to this Avengers theme roller coaster. So let's head in. Now, quick disclaimer, Golden unfortunately cannot ride this ride. I think that's pretty obvious. All right, guys, we made it. Let's head in. What'd you think of Flight of Force?
I thought it was awesome. My head was a little woozy at the end, but it was pretty good overall.
Which one do you like better, Rockin' or this one?
Probably this one.
We just got off the Flight Force roller coaster, which is basically Disneyland Paris' answer to Rockin' Roller Coaster in Walt Disney World. And I've got to give it a 10 out of 10. It was amazing. So they didn't change anything with the ride track itself or the ride system. They basically just added Avengers theming. I loved it. My wife thinks it's better than Rockin' Roller Coaster. I still love Rockin' Roller Coaster a little bit more just because I love Aerosmith and I love the music and Rockin' Roller Coaster. But everything about this ride still gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Really great ride. The theming here is really great, guys. I can't say that enough. And I think the most important thing to mention is, like, I feel like I'm at Disney. You know, I think people's biggest fear is like, am I still gonna get that Disney magic? And I can assure you, while you're here, you're going to feel like you're at Disney 110%. It is lunchtime, so we're gonna head into the Stark Factory and grab some lunch. If you do have a food allergy, just let one of the cast members know and they will be able to accommodate. So we've got some penne. This looks really good. Got some bolognese. Got some pizza. More pizza. This looks really good over here. Looks like they've got some ice cream to choose from here, and they have some vegan options. Got some desserts over here. Got some apples, yogurt, cheese, tomatoes. And we've got a whole selection of soft drinks, juices, water. And if you're feeling a little bit healthy, You can also get some salad as well. All right, so I don't know what it is, but Disneyland Paris doesn't have the best reputation for its food, but for the most part, everything that we've eaten so far has been pretty good. Definitely not on Walt Disney World or Disneyland's level, but the food's not too bad. We're gonna be eating a lot, so stay tuned. But for the first meal, not too bad. Before we leave, last thing I wanted to show you guys is Disneyland Paris has a very sophisticated trash system. So they have everything color coded, and this is just Europe in general, but just make sure that you put your trash in the correct receptacle. It'll make life so much easier for the employees. But just keep in mind, this is the European model, so don't just throw your trash wherever you want. Yeah. Looks like they're having an Ant-Man meet and greet over here. The line is absurd right now. Okay, the time has come. Next thing we're gonna ride is Tower of Terror. So this is where you really get your money's worth for that Premier Access Pass, because the line right now is ridiculous. And we're literally just about to be able to walk on. This is one of my favorite rides at WDW, so I'm really excited to see what it's like here at Disneyland Paris.
Vous ouvrez cette porte avec la clé de l'imagination. Au-delà, c'est une autre dimension.
What'd you think?
It's the best one. It's the best one. I can't even tell you guys why because it would ruin it, but that's definitely the best one.
Yeah. Well, guys, you heard it from my beautiful wife. This is hands down the best tower. Now, obviously, we can't compare it to the ones in Southeast Asia, but this one is so amazing. Now, spoiler alert, the biggest difference between this one and the one in Walt Disney World is the one in Walt Disney World, once you get to the top, the ride vehicle actually moves out of the elevator shaft into a completely different elevator shaft. And so on the surface, you would think that that would be really cool. This one, on the other hand, you literally drop out the gate, right? So I think that's probably the biggest thing that took us by surprise, is as soon as the ride doors closed, we dropped. And it wasn't the biggest drop, but it was still a drop. And this one, I feel like it actually drops you a little bit more than the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror in Florida. And so this one gets my vote, gets my wife's vote. This one was hands down the best. All right, guys, we have made it to Toy Story Playland. Let's check it out. Next ride up is Slinky Dog. So don't really know what to expect with this one, but it's kid friendly. Looks like it's just a roller coaster that goes in circles. And like I said, it's a family friendly roller coaster. So we're gonna get on it, have a good time. And we can all fit on the ride. Whoa! Whoa, buddy! I'm gonna give that about a solid 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. Next thing we're gonna ride is the Cars Road Trip. So we're obviously not on the ride yet, but so far, this actually looks like, you remember the old studio backlot tour at the old MGM Studios? This is exactly what that looks like. So I'm really excited for this one. This one should be a great blast from the past, especially for those that went to the old MGM Studios back in the day. Here it comes. Here comes our ride vehicle.
Waouh, pile à l'heure.
Vous croyez tous venir ici faire un bras de toilette? Brassage funèbre!
Your headlights. Seeing the Eiffel Tower was...
So we just got done with the Cars road trip, which was an amazing ride. It was like a total blast from the past. If you guys remember the old MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios, what they literally did is they took the Hollywood backlot tour that was way in the back of MGM Studios, and they simply just brought it here. And like Catastrophe Canyon, if you guys remember that, they literally just transported that attraction here to Paris. I miss it so much. I wish Walt Disney World would bring it back. I don't know why they closed it. It was such an amazing attraction, especially if you love the movies. And it was just awesome. It was something that was different. So this is definitely getting a solid 11 out of 10 from me. The next thing that we're going to ride is Ratatouille, which is brand new at Epcot. So let's go check it out. By the way, crowd levels are crazy right now. There's a ton of people here. 80-minute standby line. And if you guys are unfamiliar with this ride, you do actually need 3D glasses. So I haven't ridden the Ratatouille in Florida, so I don't have much to compare it to, but I'm gonna give that a solid 8 out of 10. It's really, really fun. So if you guys know of the Epcot Food and Wine Festival, they have something very similar here at Walt Disney Studios. So they have these different little tents that you can go to and get food. They've got wine, they've got food, they've got all different types of French delicacies. So yeah, honestly, I'm not too sure how people could say that there's not too many food options or the food's not that good, because there's food everywhere here. So we got this really awesome looking sandwich. And we got some falafel. Well, guys, I just found my first hidden Mickey. All right, guys, we finally made it to the #1 most anticipated ride that we have been looking forward to ride here at Disneyland Paris, and that is Crush's Coaster, which is an insane 130-minute wait. I can't even believe I'm saying that. That's Walt Disney World numbers right there. But luckily, we got the Premier Access Pass, so we're gonna head in. So just got off of Crush's Coaster. This is by far the best ride of the day. It's pretty much a combination of 3 rides: the Seas with Nemo and Friends, Space Mountain, and the Mad Tea Party. So it is a roller coaster, but the biggest difference is that you actually spin around. It's pitch black. It's a lot of fun. I will say, if you're a bigger person or a taller person, it can be a bit of a tight squeeze. I'm about 5'11", 205 pounds, and it was very, very tight for me. So if you're getting into that 6-foot range, I don't know. That's all I can say. Good luck riding it, but it's a really great ride. We had an amazing time here at Walt Disney Studios. We're actually gonna head over to Disneyland right now. So this is probably the one park that we were the most excited to visit. So stay tuned, let's go check it out. And just to let you guys know, it's about 3:00 p.m. right now. We came into the park at 10 o'clock. We got a chance to do all but 1 ride here. So the Premier Access Pass is definitely worth it in my opinion. There it is, the Disneyland Hotel, one of the most famous and iconic Disney resorts worldwide. It's very popular. In fact, if you were to check Google reviews, they've got over 12,000 reviews. People from all over the world come to stay here, and it's literally located right in between the Walt Disney Studios, and it actually is the main entrance to the Disneyland park. We have finally made it to the main entrance of the Disneyland park. So, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but it is the month of October. So, they're celebrating Halloween here. There's tons of pumpkins and Halloween decorations. So it looks like they're gonna be filming today. Wow, it's very cool. Yep, feels like I'm at Disney. Feels like I'm at Magic Kingdom. This is awesome. There are tons of Halloween decorations up right now, tons of pumpkins. This is really cool, guys. There is City Hall, looking as beautiful as ever. Wow, guys, this is awesome. So we've been here in Disneyland for a little over 10 minutes, and I must say, I really feel like I'm at Disneyland in California, right? The buildings aren't as high as you'd find on Main Street at Walt Disney World, and everything is just spaced out perfectly, right? So if you're really into that like intimate Disney feel that's not super overwhelming, then you're gonna love Disneyland Paris. Everything is just so perfect, and most importantly, it feels like I'm at Disney. So we're gonna go check out the castle, which is kind of controversial in the world of Disney because everybody thinks that their favorite castle is the best. But we'll see. Once we get over here, I'll let you guys know which castle I do think is the best. And just in case if you guys are curious, I did happen to break my ankle on the railroad tracks, just like I do at Walt Disney World and at Disneyland. So just make sure that you don't do that when you come here. Another thing I'm really surprised about is just how many Halloween decorations that they have here in Paris. So right, in America, obviously Halloween is a huge deal. It starts in August in Florida. It starts in August in California as well. And there are tons and tons of Halloween decorations out. There's thousands of pumpkins. There's all different types of like statues and odes to Halloween. So yes, Halloween is probably my favorite holiday of the year. So I'm in heaven right now. I'm in Disney heaven. And so shout out to Disneyland. The decorations look beautiful. So I'm really excited to see what else that they do here. And also, if you're curious, you don't have to pay additional to experience Halloween here at Disneyland Paris. So I'm sure they have a parade, which we'll probably see a little bit later. But it's just really, really cool to see all the different Halloween decorations here in Paris. Also, I know another big concern you guys are gonna have is how are the decorations for the 30th anniversary? Guys, they're amazing. When we went to Disney World last year at the beginning of the 50th, we really couldn't tell that it was the 50th, right? The decorations weren't like super impressive. They didn't really stand out. There was a few, things here and there that let us know it was the 50th, but I feel like everywhere that you look here, like literally every light post along Main Street lets you know that it's the 30th. And so I think that Disney has just done an outstanding job with the decorations here at this park. So it does look like they have a Casey's Corner, so that's where we're gonna head for lunch. They even have the iconic statue. So Casey's Corner, they specialize in their hot dogs. They have chili dog, they have like your traditional American hot dog, and plus they have a specialty as well. Okay, I must say the castle is pretty beautiful, guys. Don't hate me though, I am gonna take Cinderella Castle at the Magic Kingdom. I still think that's the best and most iconic castle in the Disney universe. All right, let's go ride some rides. So instead of it being Tomorrowland here at Disneyland Paris, they call it Discoveryland. Let's head in and check it out. First ride we're gonna ride is Hyperspace Mountain. It's only a 30-minute standby wait, which is pretty nice. So as you can see, I don't have a hat anymore, and that's because we just got off of Hyperspace Mountain. Amazing ride. I did lose my hat, but I have to say that's easily one of the best rides ever at any Disney park. It is based off of Hyperspace Mountain, which can be found at the Disneyland Resort, and I think a few other Disney resorts around the world. But it's just amazing. It's very different from Space Mountain at Walt Disney World in Florida because it does have 2 seats, and it also launches you as well, which is very, very different from Disneyland in California and Walt Disney World. But I loved it so much. But don't be an idiot like me. Don't wear your hat, and I promise you, you will have an amazing time because it's such a great ride. For me, I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10 because it's well deserved. Next ride we're gonna ride is Star Tours. Hey guys, so we just got off of Star Wars. Believe it or not, it's actually very different from Star Tours in Disneyland and at the Walt Disney World Resort. So I actually got the opportunity to ride it 3 times. And the reason why we rode it 3 times is because the second time that we went to ride it, they had to shut the ride down because somebody was filming on it, so we got a chance to go do it again. And the really cool thing is they take you through different lands. So we went through Hoth, Naboo, and I forgot the third land. I'll input it here. But it was really, really cool. And yeah, just whatever you do, don't film on it. It's a great ride. It felt longer than the ones at Disney World and at Disneyland, but I loved it. So for me, I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. Next ride up is Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast. So at Walt Disney World and at Disneyland, it's called Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. Here it has a completely different name, but I'm excited to check it out. Next ride we're gonna check out is Autopia. Now, it's pretty much called Altopia at all the Disneylands around the world, but at the Walt Disney World Resort, it's actually called Tomorrowland Speedway. So, excited to see how this one is. Let's check it out. So we just got off of Buzz Lightyear and we did Autopia, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a back-to-back review. Buzz Lightyear was great. I can't really rank it above Walt Disney World or Disneyland in California because they're all essentially the same. Autopia, on the other hand, was really amazing. It was better than Tomorrowland Speedway at Walt Disney World, but it does fall a little bit short of Autopia at Disneyland. Autopia at Disneyland is amazing. They're both kind of the same. The thing that I really like about Autopia in California is it's long, it goes off-road, and it's just an amazing ride. I feel like the line is always short there too, so that's the reason why it gets my top pick, but this one here was still great. At Walt Disney World and at Disneyland in California, this ride is called Astro Orbiter, but here at Disneyland Paris, it's actually called Orbitron. Still the same concept. The one at Walt Disney World is actually located a few floors higher than this one, so that's really the only difference, but for the most part, pretty much the same concept, same ride mechanisms, still a really fun ride. We're gonna probably skip it on this journey just because the line is actually a little bit long. And oh, found my first Disney ducks, guys. They're here in Paris. So if you guys need a place to charge your phone, just look for the Videopolis sign. It's literally right here across from Space Mountain. You're gonna simply enter this large building here. Look for the Videopolis Theater sign. You're gonna walk through these doors here, and this will get you to the phone chargers. Basically all over the floor and all over the walls are charging outlets. So if you need to charge your phone, just come in here. And you can also buy a battery pack as well. Guys, headed probably into my favorite land, Frontierland. Now this is very different. This kind of reminds me of Tom Sawyer Island on Walt Disney World. You can actually walk around here though. So we're not gonna do it right now because we're a little bit crunched for time, but it's pretty cool to see. Up next, we have a classic that goes by the name of Phantom Manor. Now, yes, it is basically Haunted Mansion, but here at Disneyland in Paris, they call it Phantom Manor. I've heard nothing but great things about this attraction. We love the Haunted Mansion in Florida and we love it at Disneyland, but we're really excited to see the Parisian twist on it. So let's head in and check it out.
Lorsque d'étranges et d'inquiétants bruits se font entendre tout autour. Come, I have more to show you. Entrez, brave mortel, et puis... Ici, plaisir de vous aider.
Kindly watch your step. Tea will commence only if you remain quietly seated at all times.
Just got done doing Phantom Manor. Guys, completely different than Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Not a bad thing. It was just very different, right? So Walt Disney World and Disneyland, they have a graveyard scene The ending to Phantom Manor, it actually takes you through like an old Western town, which I personally loved. Like, I don't know, I got chills in this ride. I was actually genuinely scared at some points because it just was a truly terrifying experience. I loved every second of it. I really wish that there was this exact replica somewhere in the States because it was amazing. I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10. It was solid. Got done doing Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Hands down, this is the best one. 11 out of 10, amazing ride. All I gotta say is the ending on that one is what sets it apart from all the other Big Thunder Mountain Railroads. That was amazing. Guys, check out the theming, amazing. We're gonna attempt to grab some food from this Mexican spot, keyword attempt, because these lines are ridiculous right now. Next ride up, another classic, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hisse-moi ce marin d'eau douce, compagnon. Parle, toi, canaille.
D'abord, ma jolie, montre-nous ces magnifiques bijoux. La ferme, Poudard. Qui veut des perles et des diamants? Montre-leur la marchandise. Et maintenant, tas de fripouille. J'ai entendu 6. Qui offre 6?
Mon petit troubadour à plume. You got me on Joe. Ho, yo, ho, a pirate's life for me.
Trinquons à la piraterie et ses nombreuses et précieuses récompenses. A-t-on jamais vu carrière plus rentable?
Drink up me hot Joe.
Sorry for the terrible lighting. So we just got off of Pirates of the Caribbean and wow, it was amazing. It has 2 drops, so very different from Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Had an amazing time. I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. I've been to Disney hundreds of times. I think the only thing that I have never done at Disneyland or the Walt Disney World Resort is the Frontierland Shootin' Arcade. This is a classic, basically an arcade game. Obviously, a lot of you guys know a ton about this ride, but the really good news, and as you're seeing now, is they have it in Paris, which is awesome. And the biggest difference is there's nobody here. I feel like every time I see this at Disney World specifically, all of these guns are loaded with guests, but there's nobody here. It's insane. I love it. One final thing I wanted to show you guys before we dipped out too is this concourse right here is awesome, and they need one at Disney World for crowd control, because literally a few feet to my left is Main Street USA, which is an absolute madhouse right now. And this concourse is so nice because, as you can see, there's nobody over here at all, and we're simply walking out of the theme park over here. So really nice addition. Disneyland Paris, you guys are killing it. Look at how beautiful the Emporium looks at night. This is one of my favorite buildings to look at night. I mean, does anything at Disney get more beautiful than Main Street at night? It's just so beautiful. Good night, City Hall. Good night, Disneyland Railroad. One last look at the beautiful entrance here at Disneyland Paris before we head out, guys. It's always a sad moment. It's always a very bittersweet moment. But we had an amazing time today. Thank you guys for joining us. That's gonna do it for us. We had an absolutely amazing time here at Disneyland Paris. And to be honest, there's just so much to see and so much to do that one day is not enough, right? And granted, we had the Premier Access Pass, which was worth every single penny, in my opinion. We still did not get to do everything that both parks have to offer, but I can't say enough. I'm a little bit sad that we have to leave. I always get this feeling whenever I leave a Disney park. And the fact that I have this feeling here at Disneyland, it just goes to show that this is truly an amazing park. So I'm definitely gonna give it a 10 out of 10 experience. Had an amazing time. My top 3 rides today were coming in at number 3, Hyperspace Mountain, just an absolutely flawless attraction. Number 2, Tower of Terror, another timeless classic attraction. And number 1, by far, in my opinion, was Crush's Coaster. Nothing could top that. It's such an amazing ride. So I appreciate you guys spending the day with us. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. I love Disneyland Paris. Look, I'm a hardcore Disney World lover. I'm a hardcore Disneyland California lover. And I love this place so much. I'm so glad that we live here in Europe now. We're probably gonna buy annual passes. So if you see us around, if you see us here, just feel free to say hello. Thank you guys for the continued love and support. I'm so overwhelmed with emotion. This was a really awesome, fun day with my family. And yeah, I just appreciate and love you guys so much. So thank you for everything. Thank you all for watching.